All right, Foolios and boys and girls of the Book of Faces and the YouTubers and all the interwebs and stuff. Oh, dad noises, dad stretch. um, so out here, midnight running it. As you can see, I know this looks like a giant mess, and I mean, it kind of is, and it's kind of not. It's all of the above. So, this is the SMURF, as you guys seen before, that we're working on and stuff. So, rocking the Holley Terminator Max on this bad boy. So, making some serious progress. Just like anything else, you're rocking and jumping 5 steps forward, and then it's like, whoa, we stop, and then it's kind of like, oh, we're 2 steps backwards and stuff. So it's frustrating, honestly, but also because it's kind of the first iteration of using all of this fun stuff and everything. So, and it's just kind of, it's different and stuff, I'll say. So what's really awesome is the Holley just goes boom, 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 and plugs in. I mean, literally, when you take it in and drop it on here, then all of the coil wires and spark wires and all that kind of stuff, coil packs and the injector wires, literally just all kind of like lay here and stuff. I did have to actually flip them around because I had them laying backwards and stuff because they are designated for each bay and stuff, or each bank. There we go. Yeah, each side of the engine bank, whatever you want to call it, and stuff on it. So they all pop in and stuff. One of the first hang up things is that the kit, the Holley harness, does not come with any sensors. Truthfully and honestly, that's like, I don't know. It's frustrating to me. This is almost a $2,000 harness, and there's no simple sensors, like this. Because with the Holley, it has to have it has to have the coolant temperature sensor, which has to be up in here. So either if you have the one that has the port or the screw in, the tap for the sensor up here, or you can tap it like I did, either here or over here on this side. I just decided to do it here. That way it was sitting kind of over here where this wire comes in, so that I'm not having to kind of come back across or stretch it across here, or whatever with it. So I chose to tap it and have it come in here and stuff onto it. I use thread sealant on it to try and not mess with the resistance or whatever and stuff onto it. So and then same with oil too. So the Holley has to have its own water. It has to have an oil. It has to have a not I'm calling it mass airflow, but it's not map. There we go. So it has to have a map, which that will plug in off the intake port here onto the PCM that's going to sit over here. It also has to have a MAT, which is a mass airflow temperature, I think, if I remember right. So that will go here in the intake. So I did have to get one for that. Again, it doesn't come with it. So as I said, I had to get the MAT sensor, also had to get the coolant temperature sensor, and then the oil too. So the oil was nice though, that I was able to plug in right back down here where the factory one was. Just had to kind of pop this all loose, the pump, steering pump that was here and stuff, so you can get in there and unscrew it and screw it back in and stuff for it. So, and this is wiring that plugs into the PCM. The other big thing is these 2 bad boys are coil driver modules, so they have to be plugged in line 2 because of the way Ford does the coils and stuff with it. So there is one for each side of the motor. Again, it doesn't matter how, they plug in here into the harness and stuff with it. The really, excuse my language, but shitty thing about these things is the instruction booklet from Holley does not say anything about those whatsoever. In the instruction book, there is nothing mentioned about these coil driver modules, and I didn't have to get them separately. They came with the whole harness. That big box there has all the harnesses that you need and stuff onto it, so those actually did come with it, amazing enough. But the instruction manual doesn't say jack squat about them, so I had to call Holley and be like, hey, what in the world are these for? So yeah, so I have to do the intake. this we you can do a drive-by-wire for this Holley harness, but you have to get some adapters and stuff for it. I kind of looked into it. Biggest thing is this has to be swapped out to not just it's not a Crown Vic one. It doesn't work with the Crown Vic drive-by-wire throttle body. So you have to, what I was told when I called Holley is you have to get a Mustang one. And then you have to get an adapter onto the sensors and stuff with it, and then another inline harness and stuff with it. So with all of that stuff, it's like, I mean, I guess you can do it if you want to. This is just as easy to have the throttle cable. It just goes in and hooks to, in fact, that's the last thing I just did tonight before I'm packing it in, is I got the gas pedal all set up on it. Because of the way it actuates, I wasn't going to use the truck one, so I got just an aftermarket pedal from I don't even remember now. It's from Amazon. It's that Dorman. There we go. I think it's just like a Dorman generic pedal. I had to cut quite a bit of it up and stuff and make it, but all in all, I think things like $20, $10, something like that is pretty cheap compared to some of the other ones that are out there. So obviously, depending on the look you want, you can go with any pedal you want to. So anyway, regardless, yeah, so we got that. So this stuff will all plug into the intake and stuff. A lot of these will be plugged off and whatnot. Let's see, what's the other weird thing about this or we got going on? I don't know. It's late. It's been a lot of long hours and stuff. As you can see, we got a big old list doing the roadkill style list making to kind of keep me on track and also remind me that currently there are no fluids in this thing, no oil and stuff, because as you could see from the other videos, if you look back, I'm a dumbass and I busted the dipstick tube off, so we had to drop the pan and knock it back through and all that kind of fun stuff. So it has a new dipstick tube, of course, drain the oil and put a new filter and all that kind of fun stuff. So we'll have to get it juiced back up with fluids, oil being the first and foremost and stuff onto it. So fuel systems all ran thanks to Andrew Peterson's fuel kit. So that's all should be good to go. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I'm waiting on right now is the relay and stuff with it. So because the Holley has all this. Well, there's some of these wires here. Oh, this stuff. So this stuff, one of which these wires is actually the fuel pump driver wire. But obviously it's, as you can see, very low gauge wire. So it will go to a relay, and then the relay has 10 gauge, 18 gauge, both, I think, actually, that will run back to the fuel pump that's in the Mustang, 67 Mustang gas tank that's in the back of this. So that'd be cool, because otherwise if you try to run like this, you'll be killing the fuel pump and everything else stuff. It's no bueno. So that's all in there. Built-in fuses. This stuff goes all into back into the ECU, PCM, or ECU that'll sit over here. These drivers will sit over here on the this fender inside of here as well too, because some of the wires come back in and stuff on it. Dakota Digital will be running on this, so that's all kind of self-explanatory with it. What are the other issues? Oh, speaking of Dakota, so the Dakota Digital, I'll be able to plug into like the OBD type of port. It's called something else. I can't remember it right now. So again, sorry, it's late. I've been working a lot, job and then doing this stuff. So anyway, yeah, so it'll pull some of that stuff off of there, like speedo and that kind of stuff. Oh, water temp. Oh yeah, so it'll pull water temp off and give that to the Dakota Digital, but it will not pull the oil from the Holley. So I had to throw in a oil sensor on the back side of the head here. Then that's what that wire is. That'll tie directly into the Dakota Digital gauge cluster, so that we'll have oil pressure on the Dakota Digital and stuff onto it. So the Holley harness, because it's the Terminator Max X, it runs the transmission as well. So back in there is the transmission. This wire, this is kind of weird here. Speaking of weird crap for this thing. So this is the O2 sensor, and it's stupid. You got this, look at this. This is dumb intermediate harness here for it. I don't, again, look at the instructions. I don't understand. The instructions didn't even talk about this stupid intermediate thing onto it. It's just, I plugged it, got it screwed in down there after, where the port is normally at with it, and tried to connect this to this, which obviously is like, what the hell? I'm like, what in God's name is going on? Did I get something wrong? It's just like every time you run into this, it's like, crap, did they send me something wrong now that I've already started connecting things and stuff and I got to call and harass them or whatever? But so I looked and I found this thing in there. So it's like, well, that looks like the end. So plug it in. But it's stupid. I mean, it's like 20 miles of wire now. There's no need for this extra little bit and stuff in there. I mean, even for the end of that, I don't know why this couldn't have just been the connector that's supposed to be, that goes into the O2 sensor down there. Why couldn't it have just been this solid, nice wire that went and went in? So that's kind of stupid, because here's another, I mean, they're weather packs, but still, here's another connector to go bad or get moisture in, or, you know, all this length of wire that has to get wrapped around or hidden or whatever. So that's kind of frustrating, but it is what it is. The same with having to run the additional sensor for the Dakota Digital, but again, it is what it is for stuff. I mean, even the mess that this looks like it is still, even in this form, this is way cleaner than what like all the other builds of that truck with, you know, that one uses all the Crown Vic stuff for the engine, and then has the standard truck wiring that comes in for the lights and stuff, which isn't a big deal. That's what this one, yeah, this little short loom here, that just comes back over here and runs stuff like the horn and headlights on this side, and then same with that side too. That's what most of that wiring is. Well, actually, it's not. That's a mix of everything, because this is the American autowire harness that's being that for the truck on this. Just because the stuff is old, and so some of these wires are all of the original truck stuff that goes across here, the start solenoid and regulator and all that kind of fun stuff, and then also for the headlights on this side too with it. So which a lot of it, and that's the thing too, is so the Holley only runs the engine side of it. So you need your truck wiring, whether that be the original or a painless or an American Auto wire. You'll still need that, obviously, to run the starter on the Crown Vic, which is easy enough. You just have a wire coming from the ignition source to your starter, and then from the battery to the starter too. So this is, however, much different, because it's a 3-wire. So it's a quote-unquote smart alternator is what I found out when I called someone over on the East Coast to talk about it. So with this alternator on the 4.6 liter, I think the 5.4 and stuff as well too, you can either do, it looks like so far a couple things. There's a little mini harness thing and stuff that makes this into like a 1-wire. The company I talked to over on the East Coast said you can actually change out this regulator inside of the alternator for one that's on a 99 to 04 Mustang GT. So I haven't decided which way we're going as of yet. I was looking at both. I need to watch some video tonight, because the 1-wire thing actually might be nice. You just plug it in and then a single wire going over, instead of having to try to run multiple wires to it, would be kind of clean, kind of nice. So that's the only stuff that ties into the truck is that stuff here in the engine bay. And then, otherwise it's the truck. I like it. I think personally it's really stupid using the Crown Vic wiring harness for anything more than just running the engine or running like the AC. Obviously, if you're running the Crown Vic gauges, then you have it run up to the gauges and stuff in like the PCM. But just what you need to run the engine, run the AC. There's really nothing else. It's stupid to try and make the Crown Vic wiring plug into the headlights and the tail lights and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I could see it if you want to try and have cruise control and all that kind of stuff with it, but otherwise everything else, I don't know. I mean, people can do what they want to do, obviously, but it's a ton of extra work that isn't needed. Just use your truck wiring. If you are hesitant about your truck wiring, then replace it. If you find weird stuff or brittle stuff, then replace it, because it's a whole lot of money to put into something to have a stupid wire failure that either causes some other failure, especially like this stuff. I mean, you spend this money on this harness, all this kind of stuff, and then like your crappy original truck wiring harness causes a problem in here and smokes something, PCM. I mean, who knows what? Or even your ignition switch. I mean, you reuse everything and stuff. Your ignition, your lights. I mean, your ignition, something happens on your ignition and it causes a PCM failure or causes this harness to melt. Holley's not going to warranty that. That's nothing to do with them. They're probably going to specifically ask you that of what's your truck harness like and stuff on it. So, yeah, they're expensive. The American Auto wire is by far the most, but it's great because the connectors are all stock connectors and stuff. The painless is a really great one too on it. The customer got the painless kit on that one. It was great. Everything runs. It's literally from headlights to taillights and everything in between. You can get ones that have a little bit extra for power windows and stuff. But anyway, sorry, I'm rambling. But yeah, so then that's what that stuff is right there. It's the things that would go to the coil and all that kind of stuff for the truck. So that's the other kind of cool thing of it. I mean, I'm just leaving that. I'll probably pull back inside the firewall and then strap it up back inside there. Same with over here. I'm not going to cut off the stuff for like the start solenoid and like the original alternator wiring and the original starter wire and all that kind of fun stuff. I'm just going to probably pull that stuff back through, coil it up and hang it up somewhere in here, probably back over here into the center where things are out of the way. But you know, all that stuff, same with anything on this side and stuff, all of that will be put back in. I'm not going to chop it all up and stuff. So later on, if somebody wants to yank this 4.6 liter out and put something else in there, then that's fine. You can put a 390, a 360 back in it. You can put an LS in it. I know I said LS, but anyway, but it's just a point. You can put anything you want to into it, because like Kyle from Outcast Auto Works makes mounts that go onto this Crown Vic that fit any motor you want to put in here. I mean, he's one of the guys that has a 2JZ in it. So that's just the thing, or just the original motor. It's all right there with it. The Painless, the American Autowire come with all the stuff to run for an aftermarket AC system. So that's cool. It's all there too. The harness covers from, I think, 67, maybe even earlier. I know from 67 up to like 79 even with it. So it's all the iterations of this truck. It's not for the earlier years. 66 or 67 is a cutoff for it. 66 and back is a different harness and stuff onto it. But yeah, so you get that stuff and away you go with it. So we'll have to figure the alternator thing out. I'm getting all the rest of the wiring buttoned up. So it's pretty much time to get the front clip put on and start getting the radiator cooling system and stuff all put back together and buttoned up and stuff onto it. So yeah, anything else I was trying to think of? So I think that's really the only weird stuff with it. So like I said, it has a transmission harness. It's all in there. It plugs into all the factory stuff with it. So yeah, this is the tail light, all the lighting that goes to the back of the truck and stuff on it. And here's everything inside. Yeah, so as you can see, it's all the fun wiring that's inside there. And then there's our Dakota Digital. We got the all black style, so that'll look really sick, all plugged in here. Like that truck over there, the stunt truck, it fits right into the factory cluster of the truck and stuff. So as you can see, all brand new wiring that's in there, new fuse block that's in there. That module kind of off to the right of the fuse block is the not the BIM. Is that the BIM one? No, that's not the BIM one. The little one's the BIM one. That needs to go in too, but that's kind of like the intermediate module for the Dakota Digital. So everything that needs to, like the oil, will actually go into that, and that will feed into the Dakota Digital gauge cluster and stuff on it. But yeah, so everything's new there. New ignition switch on it. Yeah, so we're doing everything all done up and stuff on it. So factory truck steering column that's in there as well too. So yeah, and that's connected. This will have, like most all of them I do, will have the low car shifter that comes up through the floor. Actually, it is right over there. That's that big box sitting there. So it is the Charlie Matthew 4 Roger 70 Walter Charlie Mary. So it's a low car for the R70W transmission for the Crown Vics and stuff, and Mercury Grand Marquis and town cars and all that kind of stuff with it. So yeah, there's the old wiring that was back there, all yucky and stuff. We'll use it for something else if need be. But yeah, so that's what we got going on. So gotta get that stuff in and get her all set up and get the fluids in it and fire her up and see her run and stuff with it. So the Holley has its own PCM with it. I don't know if anybody's ever seen this. So yeah, that's the manual and stuff for it. So it's really cool. That's what this is right here. It has a little 3.5-inch tuning screen that gives you all readouts. So you can have your stuff from the Dakota Digital gauge cluster in there reading stuff, but then also this cool little handheld will give you everything as to live data, plus you can go through and tune, select if you have power adders and all that kind of fun stuff. This is the fancy awesome Terminator X Max PCM and stuff on it. It actually has diagnostic lights on it too, so pretty kick-ass, pretty sweet stuff. This is the same as what I'm using on my LS for the Dodge truck, so I like it. I've used Holley stuff before. A lot of people rave about it, so that's where we're at. I don't think there's any other kind of weird stuff with it, so that's about all it is. I had to do the EGR delete and stuff on it, so yeah. All right, I'm tired. I'm going to bed because I have work all day and then work all night, so that's the way it is. She is just about done. Got some finishing up touches. Need to start doing some run around. The snow finally went away, so we need to get that thing out here and start running around in it and stuff, get it shaken down and whatnot. I think I have to do some tuning with Marty remotely on that one too, because we put the cold air intake in, which messes up stuff with how it senses air stuff and everything. So Marty wants to do a tune session with me and stuff on it, so we'll do that and then go romp around and stuff on it. We'll probably have to do, already talking with Marty, we'll have to do some remote tune on this too. The like I said, that handheld can go through and do a lot of stuff, but obviously there's tons and tons more that you can do and stuff. So that's part of what Marty does for me. I'm obviously paying him to do work and stuff, but yeah, so we'll go through and do a tuning on that, and then he'll also help me when it comes time to tune the beast over there, which hopefully should be tuned. Should I pop over? Nah, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do a little walkthrough on what we got going on with the Red Baron over there, or I don't know, whatever I decide to call it. I haven't figured it out yet. Let me know. I don't want to call it red anything though. That just seems like a cop out on it, is calling it like anything red, like, you know, Red Apple or Red Blossom or, you know, El Toro or any of that kind of stuff. It's just kind of a cop out. Anyway, yeah, so that's what we got going on. Thanks guys. We will talk to y'all later. Peace.